What's going on, everybody? It's the Crypto Wonder from the Crypto Wonder podcast. Hope you're doing well, and as always, if you're not doing well, may you find wellness in a jiffy, real quick. Godspeed. Let's get right into it. So, people have said for a long time, those who really understand or who have been in crypto for a while, for a long time, and who talk about, let's say, Bitcoin. People over the years, and even to this day, believe that Bitcoin will supplant the US dollar and become the number one world currency because of what Bitcoin can do, what it offers, right? Now, for many reasons, Bitcoin has faced its own challenges during its existence, and those challenges can't be refuted. There's no debating. When you have a piece of technology that comes out after Bitcoin that is not only better but superior. Anything can be better than something else, but when it's superior to its predecessor, does the narrative shift as far as what can become the world reserve currency? I think it does. It's only common sense. Of course, those who've listened to my content know the superior product, know what the superior product is. That's been working for 2 years. The superior product is Hex. If the narrative for Bitcoin is that sooner or later it will supplant, it will replace the US dollar and become the number one world reserve currency, and Hex is superior to Bitcoin, do the math, because this is all about math. This is all about math. This is not about how we feel. This is not about even what we think. This is about mathematics. Age-old mathematics that has been here since the dawn of civilization and creation, I might add. Hex will pretty much swallow every monetary energy that we can think of. If people believe that Bitcoin will supplant the US dollar, well, Hex will supplant Bitcoin and everything else. Because there is no ceiling, there is no cap, right, as far as how far in value price can go for Bitcoin. Do you think there's a cap or an end or a limit to how far price can go for Hex? I know this sounds like some type of cartoon, fantasy, imaginary talk. It's actually quite unbelievable. Like, no one can believe this. Even the founder has a hard time wrapping his mind and even uttering the words of how high one Hex token, how high the price of one Hex token can go. But this is mathematics. This is all math. Stop and take a look at reality here and understand this is why, one of the fundamental reasons why Hex reached 10,000x in less than 2 years just by holding the tokens. This is why Hex reached 20,000x if you were staking during the entire time that the holders were able to see 10,000x. Is because the math does not lie. And it's not going to stop, right? This is why I also say that the world does not know what's about to come. You look at the colors of Hex. You look at the logo of Hex. At first glance, many dismiss it. I was one of them. I dismissed it. I didn't take it serious. That was a gross mistake that I made. A huge mistake. A huge mistake that we're trying to keep other people from making by dismissing what's lying in front of us. Because sometimes the answer to our issues and problems are right in front of us, and we choose to ignore it for whatever reason. But then when you have data, substantial amount of data that supports the inner workings of a product, of a system, how can anyone deny the potential of where it can go? Because up to this point, you have the blockchain that captured the information. You have charts. You have all types of data up to this point that supports the product known as Hex, right? You have all this information that supports the product known as Bitcoin, or the crypto known as Bitcoin, or the crypto known as Ethereum. And just a small percentage of people are aware of what these things are about. When you think about, elitists and people who are basically the owners of the majority of resources that we understand, known to man, and how it's 1%, the 1%ers, or, the oligarchs. If Hex will pretty much envelop everything, what do you think the Hexicans are going to become? What do you think the owners of Hex, i.e. Hexicans, i.e. people who own Hex, whatever you want, what do you think that group will become? The wealthiest people on the planet. And I'm talking about even now, even today, because we're still early. I don't know when this will, I don't know when where millions of people will learn about Hex and even own Hex and stake Hex. I don't know when that's going to take place, but people who own Hex now, if they hold on and they agree to keep their agreement by way of staking, we're going to see in the next 15 years the truth of all of this. We're going to see the truth. Not the truth of how Hex works because we understand it. We're going to see the truth of Hex in relation to the legacy world, in relation to everything else comparatively speaking, with finances, with the economy, with money, with banking, with everything. These next 15 years are going to capture something that we could not even imagine right now. I'm telling you, this is bigger than an experiment. This is not a project where, you have more development that's taking place onto Hex. Hex is complete and it's just working. And during that time, there are other developments being done, like PulseChain that's about to launch, where Hex will be on top of Pulse, continually advancing, continually doing what it's supposed to do, and helping people earn yield. When you have heads of corporations who pour their monetary energy into Bitcoin because they see that the bond market, however they were trying to accrue value with their treasuries, the bond market and interest rates have been failing them, and they understand technology and took a risk by getting into Bitcoin. When they see what Hex has done and what Hex is doing and how wrecked they are holding that BTC, you're going to see a different wave and a different paradigm shift on top of another paradigm shift on top of another paradigm shift. And who's going to be the recipient of all that yield, of all that greatness that's about to come? Hex Token Holders. Because after a while, the ego can only go but so far. Because a man or a woman's pride can lead to their own downfall and destruction. And after a while, when you see that you could still make so much yield, so much money, even if you waited too long or you weren't first or second or whatever, and you see that this thing has no limit, it's limitless, it's basically infinite as far as price value. Oh, they jumping in. They're going to jump in just like they jumped into Bitcoin. You don't think they're going to jump into Hex? Give it some time. I tell you, these next 15 years, well, I would say these next 13 years, because Hex launched in 2019. So during this 15-year period, since Hex's inception, it is going to define a new economic paradigm. Be prepared, people. Like, really become aware, be prepared, put your ducks in a row right now. Right now. Because when I went to the workshop in New York City, I saw regular people like you and I, regular people there, who were experiencing, who are questioning, and those who've been in Hex, who fared very well in Hex. I met these individuals. They're just regular people like you and me. We're not talking about artificial intelligence. I didn't go meet any robots talking to me about a Hex system. No, they were regular human beings who ideally, it's like I shook hands of millionaires. I shook hands with people who are millionaires. I shook hands with future billionaires. This is not hope. And I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's behind, because I'm not about that, man. I got too much to go for. I got too much going on than to waste time. Anytime I turn on these devices and I'm speaking, it's because I'm trying to generate interest and value for everybody who's listening. And when I met those people, I was like, wow, this is something else. It's one thing when you're hearing about it or you talking and you're watching something through a device, and it's another thing when you're in the mix and you're seeing how things are. Let me tell you, people, within these next 10 to 13, 15 years, it's going to be very telling. It's going to be very telling. Where do you find, or do you see yourself in the next year to 13 to 15 years. If you're in Hex, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on to the token. Hold on to it. Those who held on to the top blockchain tokens, who held on to them from the time they bought it till now, are all winning. All winning. No debating. You can too. We can too. And we will. We will. I don't care how bad things get, because outside of crypto, if we're able to see today, we survived. You understand? Outside of crypto, whatever challenges and stuff that we're going through, if we're able to see another day, well, that's a chance we have to make things right or to deal with whatever issues we got going on. At the same time, holding on for dear life with tokens such as Hex and soon to be PulseChain and soon to be other things, because the technology and the advancement won't stop. Give credit to where it's due and be grateful. We are beyond early. We're still early. Folks don't know what this is about. People have no idea what's going on. And guess what? The information is out there. It's not hidden. It's out there. Just people have to look. When it's their time, they'll pay what they deserve. They'll pay what they deserve. And that's okay. We all had to come in and pay what we deserved. So no worries when I'm hearing about how things are going. The financial world, legacy world, is not to help you and I. Financial legacy systems are not created to help the people. They abuse the people to enrich themselves. Financial legacy is supposed to enrich financial legacy, not you and I. Crypto, specifically Hex, is enriching you and I and siphoning the control and the power away from the hands of legacy. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Now, there's always a price. There's always a price. Because financial legacy, it's either they play our game or they'll be forced to do something else. And like I was going to say, there's always a price. And what I mean by that is you got to pay for the freedom, right? You got to pay for your independence, right? For our independence, we got to pay to be able to declare sovereignty and have control. But at least we'll be able to pay for it. You understand? At least we'll be able to pay for it with these tools, with these systems that are at our disposal, such as Hex and soon to be PulseChain. Incredible, man. What they were discussing. What was Kinetics and Richard Hart talking about in the recent video they had? Powerful interview. Shout out to Kinetics. Shout out to Richard Hart. They had a great interview. And what I drew from that, the ratio game, go listen to it, because I'm going to fumble and bumble. I'm going to try to be as clear as I can with what I'm about to say without fumbling and bumbling my words, because sometimes my thoughts move faster than what I say. So the ratio where one ETH, the price of Ethereum, it's supposed to be 1 ETH to 1 pulse, or a million pulse. The ratio is crazy where if you divide the price of Ethereum by 1 million, because for all the ETH that's out there, for every one ETH, there'll be like something like a million pulse. For every Ethereum, for every one Ethereum, there'll be a million pulse. So if you divide one ETH by a million, and this is all speculation, you would have a certain price. It's probably half a penny or so, 0.004 or 0.0039, and that may be the price that Pulse opens at. Who knows? Who knows? How long you think it's going to stay at that price? It's still zero. It's 0.0039 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is. It's going to open at 0. And when the first trade occurs, however they do it, with bots, automated market maker, however, how long you think it's going to stay at that price? How long? And you know I always got to drop a little thing about the bonding curve. The bonding curve today is over 1,400x higher than the first 5 days of the sacrifice period for PulseChain. Do you think it would be wise for someone who bought at today's prices, 0.14, right? 14 cents per point, per PLS point? Do you think it's wise for them if the price opens up at 0.004 or 0.0039? You think it's wise for a person who sacrificed a day to dump their pulse? You think they're going to dump? Person bought much higher than 0.0039. You think they're going to dump? Make it make sense. Get ready, people. Get ready. And shout out to all my new subscribers. Shout out to all the listeners and viewers. Shout out to the people who like this, my content, who like my videos, who subscribe to my channel, and who leave comments. You are all appreciated, man. You are all appreciated. And let's keep the positive momentum and drive going, because these are incredible times. Make no mistake about it. Absolutely. Indeed. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Take care.